everybody, to the Superhumanistic podcast, where we talk about all things health and wellness. Thank you for joining us today. We are your hosts, David and Jessica. Make sure you hit that follow button on this podcast so you never miss another episode. We put out an episode once a week every Saturday. Follow us on Superhumanistic on all socials for more health and wellness tips. And make sure that you share this podcast with someone that you love so they can live a long, healthy, and happy life. Last week, we talked about seasonal anxiety. So if you want to learn more about the symptoms of seasonal anxiety whenever you're transitioning from season to season, all the different stressors that come along with each season and ways to cope with that, go back and listen to last week's episode. This week, we are going to be talking about the benefits of good sleep. Probably one of the most underrated health boosters out there. If sleep were a pill, everybody should be taking it because it's actually one of the most important things that you can do to maintain your health as you age and just every day. Basically, whenever you're getting good sleep, you're hitting that reset button, really is what it comes down to in your body and your mind. You're filing away those memories, everything that you did for the day or the last couple days, which helps organize your thoughts when you're actually awake. Your muscles repair, so if you're working out, hitting the gym, taking that run, this is going to be very important for you to help those muscles recover, repair, and actually grow. Your immune system recharges, so if you're wanting to make sure that you're staying healthy, preventing those cold and flu illnesses, sleep is super important for that as well. And studies have shown that consistent sleep really helps with that mental clarity and focus. So every day that you're going into work or whatever task you're having to complete, that's going to help. Getting that sleep's going to help make sure that you keep that mental clarity and focus. Your physical performance and recovery depends heavily on getting enough sleep. Also, your emotional resilience and mood. So if you're experiencing any moodiness lately, sleep could be a huge factor for you. And just really all your overall life expectancy is really tied to getting good amounts of sleep each night. So you're going to kick it off with some ways to get some good sleep. Yes. And these are based on research that we did and information from sleep doctors.
So all of these are what sleep doctors actually have as tips that they also do in their daily lives. So the first one really is to honor our internal clock. So if you're feeling tired, making sure that we honor that and find a bedtime that is appropriate for our internal clock as well. With that, making sure that we are waking up and falling asleep at consistent times. So I know that throughout my work week, I have to be up around 4 in order to do my whole morning routine. So then my bedtime does need to be earlier to ensure that I'm getting the amount of sleep needed. So if I wake up at 4, then really I should be aiming to go to bed around 8. Definitely seems early, but 4 o'clock comes very quickly. So having that consistent bedtime and wake up time to ensure that you're getting that quality sleep and that our bodies can get to the actual REM and restorative sleep that we are needing. So I know my husband talks a little bit about why we need sleep. So we know like sleep definitely helps with our digestion and hormone regulation to make sure that that continues to run smoothly. So that's why making sure we have that consistent bedtime can help with ensure that we're getting enough sleep and quality sleep. For the second tip, make it a habit to get morning sunlight, whether that be you're going outside for a 10-minute walk. That's one thing that I am going to be adding to my routine as the sun starts to come up earlier now, or just light exposure in general. So having a desk that's close to the window. That light exposure does act as a powerful signal to our circadian rhythm. So that circadian rhythm is, again, what tells our body to wake up or fall asleep. So it signals our circadian rhythm, which tells our brain to stop producing melatonin, which causes us to go to sleep. So it creates that wakefulness in our bodies. So light therapy, I know in the winter months, people do a lot of light therapy. That is another alternative for if you live in an area that tends to not have a lot of sunlight. Definitely trying light therapy box or light therapy glasses that have different settings of natural light. That's something I would love to look into this winter, as I do feel the difference when I am in the sun versus not having that light to wake me up. The third one, no surprise here, but going easy on alcohol, of course, whether that just be throughout your week, making sure you're sticking to just that one glass at night, and then stopping drinking alcohol as well as the caffeine too at a certain time to ensure that our body is able to regulate and produce that melatonin that it needs. It also helps to not have alcohol because our body doesn't get as deep of sleep when we do drink. We tend to wake up more often when we're drinking. So making sure that you definitely keep the alcohol out, or at least limit it to that one glass so that you're able to get to the REM and restorative stages of sleep. Number 4 is to set aside a dedicated time to make sure that we are unwinding before bed. I always tend to have a better morning routine than my night routine, but those go to bed with me little clips that I see, I am going to have to start doing myself, because it definitely helps to your body to like de-stress from the day, start to relax, get our minds into the mode of it is getting time for us to actually fall asleep. Whether that be you're going to be reading a book at night to help with that, but staying off of our phones is important as well because we're getting that blue light then. So making sure we prep our bodies and brains so that it's ready to get quality sleep at night is tip number 4. Tip number 5 is, again, planning our morning routine. If we have something exciting in the morning that we look forward to, falling asleep tends to be better. So keeping with that consistent routine, whatever you do for your morning routine, and then a night routine as well. And then being realistic with ourselves. So if we say we're going to do something as part of our morning routine or our night routine, making sure that we stick to it. And then lastly, actually prioritizing sleep. So setting aside that time to ensure that our bodies are able to get to those restorative and REM levels of sleep. If we're not going to bed until 10 o'clock, but no, we have to wake up at 4, then we're not giving our body enough time to be able to get to those levels in sleep. So making sure that we do prioritize sleep and sticking to those times that we say we're going to go to bed in order to be able to wake up fully rested in the mornings.
All right. Some great tips there for sure, and I'll jump into a few other topics here. So if you're ever wondering what happens if you don't get enough sleep, well guys, the short answer is nothing good. So chronic sleep deprivation can lead to things like heart disease, also diabetes and weight gain, the weakened immune system as we talked about earlier. If you ever pulled an all-nighter and ended up sick the following day, now you know why. Poor mental health, so heightened anxiety and depression can be a factor as well. So you had some great tips there, but when all else fails, guys, make sure that you go see a specialist. If you've tried everything and you're still tossing and turning, not getting proper deep sleep, proper REM sleep, you'll want to speak with a specialist so they can help uncover the issues that may be leading to it, such as sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome. So make sure you're getting checked out if you've tried all those tips. So here's your challenge. Here, pick just one of those tips and start implementing it tonight. You can start small and then see how much of a difference that makes, and then implement another tip that we've included here today and just keep going with those, because it's important to remember that really sleep is your superpower, so don't underestimate how important it is. So, as you kind of touched on as well, make sure that you treat sleep like the most important meeting of your day. It's the one thing that sets the tone for everything else each day whenever you go out into the world. So, we greatly appreciate you tuning into the Superhumanistic podcast. If you found this podcast helpful, make sure that you like, subscribe, leave us a comment and review. That will help others find this podcast as well, so other people in the world can also benefit from these sleep tips. And go out there and get sweet dreams so you can be more superhumanistic. We'll see you next time.
Bye.